Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we want to talk about something that is very pressing, and it's our role as a country in supporting countries around the world. We are faced with a global pandemic, which means this pandemic is impacting people around the world. And if we do not do our part to ensure that less fortunate countries, countries that with smaller economies, countries that have faced systemic inequality for a long time, if they don't have access to the vaccine, we will not be able to fight this global pandemic. So what we're looking at right now is a reality where Justin Trudeau has failed in a lot of ways when it comes to this vaccine. It gives me no pleasure in saying so, but it is a reality. And one of the highlights or one example of this failure to secure a vaccine is the fact that we are the only G7 nation which is tapping into COVAX, a supply of vaccine meant for countries with smaller economies. That is simply, it is very unfortunate that this is where we have ended up. And so what we're calling on the government to do today, I'm calling on Justin Trudeau, is to do a number of things. To stop being so cozy with Big Pharma and stand up to Big Pharma. And at the upcoming World Trade Organization meeting, listen to the request of numerous countries which have said is we need to see the patents waived so that we can produce a vaccine in our own countries. So we are calling on Justin Trudeau to do what's right. We don't feel like Canada is back right now when Justin Trudeau, on behalf of Canada, is making it easier for pharmaceutical companies to make profits and making it harder for countries with smaller economies to be able to produce a vaccine. So we're calling on Justin Trudeau, join in the effort to waive the patents at the World Trade Organization meeting to ensure that countries with smaller economies can produce the vaccine. In addition, waive the investor-state dispute resolution mechanism so that companies can't sue smaller economy countries that need to produce the vaccine. Let's take a stand to make sure there's more global supply of the vaccine, so there are more countries that can produce the vaccine and we can fight this global pandemic. That's what we're calling on. I'm really honored today to be joined by Stephen Lewis, and I want to introduce him properly. This is Canada's former ambassador to the United Nations and United Nations Special Envoy for the HIV/AIDS in Africa, someone who has done incredible work on the world stage. I'm really honored to introduce him. I'll just say my remarks in French, and then I will pass the mic over to Stephen Lewis. Really honored that, Stephen, you could join us today. Give me a moment to make the remarks in French, and then I'll pass the mic to you. Aujourd'hui, on veut parler d'un grand enjeu, le fait qu'à travers le monde, on a un besoin des vaccins parce que c'est une pandémie qui impacte tout le monde. Et ce qu'on a vu du part du gouvernement libéral et Justin Trudeau, qu'ils ont continué de supporter ou aider les grandes compagnies pharmaceutiques au lieu d'aider les pays avec des économies faibles ou moins de revenus. Donc, ce n'est pas acceptable de faire ça. On sait qu'on doit augmenter le montant de vaccins pour tout le monde. On doit le faire face ensemble. Donc, on exige du gouvernement de faire deux choses. Premièrement, dans la rencontre qui s'en vient, une rencontre mondiale pour de ne pas protéger la propriété intellectuelle des grandes compagnies pharmaceutiques. Au lieu de ça, d'aider les pays des moins revenus, de les aider d'avoir la capacité de produire les vaccins chez eux. C'est essentiel de le faire. Donc, on va continuer de pousser pour faire de notre part, de supporter les autres pays à travers le monde d'avoir accès aux vaccins. Et ça me fait un grand honneur d'inviter maintenant, de passer la parole à Stephen Lewis. Son bilan est extraordinaire. Il a travaillé avec les Nations Unies. C'est quelqu'un qui a représenté le Canada et qui a fait un grand effort pour aider les autres pays, particulièrement avec les infections comme HIV/AIDS. Donc, avec grand plaisir, je présente Stephen Lewis. With great honor, I would now like to pass the mic to Stephen Lewis.
Jagmeet, thank you very much for that excessively kind introduction. I actually have a text which I shall unselfconsciously read. Let me get right to the heart of the matter which Jagmeet has raised. In the late 1990s and early 2000, hundreds of thousands, nay, millions of Africans were dying of AIDS. I was witness to that collective carnage. They did not have to die. Their death was a crime against humanity. There were medicines, antiretroviral treatments to keep them alive, but the drugs were confined to the rich industrial world. They were far too expensive to be afforded by low-income countries. And why were they too expensive? Because the rapacious drug manufacturers were protected by patents and could charge whatever they wished, and they did, to the tune of $10,000 to $12,000 per person per year. That was tough enough to afford in North America and Europe. It was absolutely impossible in Africa. And then two dramatic things happened. In India, that had passed a law permitting the overriding of patents when public health was at risk, the generic drug companies, particularly a company called Cipla, started producing generic equivalents of antiretrovirals of perfect quality at $350 per person per year. Before long, Cipla was the AIDS drug supplier to Africa and the world. The price came down to $100 per person per year. In South Africa, a remarkable consortium of activists and the government fought the patent protections of the pharmaceutical industry in court and on the streets, eventually forcing the drug manufacturers, 39 companies in all, to withdraw and lower prices significantly, and then the government began to import low-cost generics. What we're seeing with vaccines is a bitter mirror image of what we saw with HIV and AIDS. The North is secure. The South languishes at the end of the line. Early next month, as Jagmeet has said, at a meeting of the World Trade Organization, nation-states will once again debate the demand from South Africa and India and 100 other countries to waive patent protection for vaccines during the life of the pandemic. It is both astounding and appalling that Canada is on the wrong side of that debate. Waiving the patents would mean massive reduction in prices and dramatic increase in generic manufacture. The refusal to waive patents means that Canada has opted to protect the profits, frankly obscene profits, of the drug companies at the expense of global public health. In the face of a pandemic, it is unconscionable behavior. Allow me to end with these summary observations. As things now stand, fewer than 20% of the population of low-income and middle-income countries will be vaccinated by the end of 2021. It's more likely to be 10%, light years away from herd immunity. As of Tuesday this week, according to the World Health Organization, almost 200 countries had received not a single dose. The emergence of ominous variants poses a huge global health risk without vaccines available everywhere. The pharmaceutical industry has benefited from billions of dollars of public money for research and discovery, and even greater billions in pre-purchase vaccine agreements. Why should the multinational drug companies be dictating the price, the availability, the access, the timetable, the delivery, the confidentiality of public contracts for vaccines? Why in the world should the pharmaceutical industry eclipse the role of governments? The mantra of global solidarity has been trashed. And how's this for sticking in the craw of equality? Countries like South Africa and Brazil provided their citizens for the vaccine trials of Pfizer and Moderna, but they can't afford the vaccine itself. What we will almost certainly see next month at the World Trade Organization is the resurgence of a contemporary colonialism. Vaccine nationalism will triumph over global public health. More than that, we will have a colonialism with racist coloring. We all rightly, and generations too late, embrace the cry of Black Lives Matter, except for Black African lives. Thank you, Jagmeet.
Thank you, Stephen. Really appreciate your powerful words and your ongoing incredible advocacy on this file and many others. And I just want to wrap up in conclusion before I pass it on for questions. There's a clear pattern of behavior here from the decision by Justin Trudeau not to update the list of countries we compare to when setting drug prices, which only benefits Big Pharma and hurts Canadians. The decision not to vote in favor of pharmacare, again, another decision that hurts Canadians but benefits Big Pharma. And now, very clearly, there is a global interest in waiving patents. It is a right thing to do. Justin Trudeau has already indicated he is on the side of Big Pharma, on the wrong side of this. There's a pattern of behavior, and every time it seems like Justin Trudeau he chooses Big Pharma over people. And in this case, as in all cases, it means that lives will be lost if we don't make the right decision. Again, we are imploring that Canada support the decision to waive patents, support the decision to waive and suspend the investor-state dispute resolution mechanism as it applies to countries that need to produce vaccines, and support increased global supply of the vaccine. Merci encore et on est prêt pour vos questions.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. So for members of the media, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function and we will unmute you to ask your question. Pour les membres des médias, je vous inviterai d'utiliser la fonction lever la main pour poser votre question et une fois on vous identifie, on vous donnera le droit de parole. Alors, I have a first question from Chris Reynolds with the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Singh. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Chris, thank you.
So this morning we learned that Health Canada has approved AstraZeneca as the third vaccine that Canada will accept, and I believe it is 20 million doses are slated for delivery between April and September. So I'm just wondering how this latest news about millions more doses coming to Canada weighs on or reflects what that brings to bear on what you're calling for today, how that's relevant.
As Stephen laid out, we are in a strong position compared to other countries around the world. Other countries around the world don't have the means to purchase the vaccine. They don't have the means to pay the high prices. And so what we need to do is, one, we absolutely need to have a clear plan in Canada. There doesn't seem to be an all hands on deck approach. The Liberal government needs to step up and provide a better plan to deliver the vaccine. But what we're seeing now is there are vaccines available, but countries around the world cannot access them. And what I found very jarring and painfully true in Mr. Lewis's presentation was the fact that some of these countries with smaller economies provided their citizens for the test and the trials, but now can't afford the vaccine. That is a bitter irony and unjust irony of what's going on. So more than ever, we have to acknowledge this is a global pandemic. We need to do our part to increase global supply. We need to also ensure that everyone in Canada is vaccinated, but that does not preclude our responsibility to ensure the entire world has access to the vaccine. And that's why we're calling for 2 concrete steps that would ensure increased global supply.
Thanks for that. A question for Mr. Lewis as well. I'm wondering if we are seeing any relatively wealthy nations taking a more exemplary stand, as you would see it, when it comes to waiving patents on COVID-19 vaccines. Are we seeing anybody taking action on this that Canada could follow?
The answer at the moment is no, Chris. The United States, the European Union, Japan, Canada, the United Kingdom, everyone is on side against the waiving of patents. They are beholden to the pharmaceutical industry, and they will not waive the patents, at least not until this point. Perhaps the enormous global pressure which is building may have some impact, but forgive my cynicism, I doubt it. And I think it's painful that Canada, in the eyes of the world, having purchased in advance so many hundreds of millions of doses to provide 5 or 6 times the necessary requirements to inoculate the Canadian population, it's a sad business that Canada finds itself on the wrong side on this issue.
Thank you very much. Again, just a reminder, if you have a question, to please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your page. Juste un rappel, si vous avez une question, d'utiliser la fonction lever la main au bas de la page. Je ne vois pas d'autres questions. I see no more questions. Jagmeet, please go ahead.
Thank you. Once again, a very heartfelt thank you to Stephen Lewis for being here with us today and sharing his really powerful words. And again, I want to just reiterate how important this is. We have a global responsibility. I remember when Justin Trudeau said Canada is back. Well, it does not feel like Canada is back right now. When on one side we've got hundreds of countries that cannot afford access to a vaccine in a global pandemic, and on the other side we have wealthy countries that are opposed to supporting these countries, it does not feel like Canada is back. Again, there is a clear path forward though. We could take a bold position to support what everyone knows. In a global pandemic, everyone needs access to the vaccine. So let's take that stand and waive the patents as requested by numerous countries to ensure that countries can access the vaccine. Let's do our part as global citizens. Let's do our part as Canadians to make sure everyone around the world can also access the vaccine. Thank you so much. Encore merci infiniment d'être ici. Je veux souligner encore, je me rappelle quand Justin Trudeau a dit que le Canada revient. Le Canada est là encore. Mais il ne me semble pas quand le Canada, à cause de Justin Trudeau, défend toujours les intérêts de grandes compagnies pharmaceutiques au lieu d'aider les pays avec un moins revenus. Donc, ce qu'on exige encore le gouvernement de faire, c'est d'aider ces pays, de ne pas, pour un instant, de suspendre la propriété intellectuelle des grandes compagnies pharmaceutiques pour aider les autres pays d'avoir accès aux vaccins. C'est essentiel de faire. On est citoyen global, on doit faire face à cette pandémie ensemble et le Canada a une occasion de faire sa part en protégeant les autres pays, en aidant les autres pays et j'exige le gouvernement libéral et Justin Trudeau de le faire. Merci.